everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the all-new Iron Hands character, Caanok Var. Yes, here he is, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. It's a beautiful model. It's very, well, he's more machine than man at this point, as any Iron Hand should be. For example, this leg is bionic, both of the arms I think are also bionic. So yeah, he's not doing so hot. But we're going to be painting out today because Games Workshop were very kind and sent him to me early to build up and paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. So he's been primed in grey Seer, and the colour we're going to be using first is Black Legion. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all of Caanok Var's power armour. Now don't worry if you get this over the top of some of the metallics. Obviously we're going to replace those with a metallic. But just as mentioned before, vast amounts of him are in fact going to be silver, so it's best to try and avoid them so that you remember where it all is. But there's one area that we are going to avoid, which is of course his helmet, or at least his face grill, because that is going to be the white of the Iron Hands. So with all of that Black Legion applied, it is a lot of Black Legion. What we're going to do now is we're going to take some Flesh Tearers Red, and we're going to apply this over top of the grip of the weapon and most of the dangling smooth red cables. There's only two that we're not, and that's because they're the large ones on the back, here and here. So with that Flesh Tearers Red all applied, we're then going to take some Imperial Fist. I'm going to apply this over top of these remaining cables. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to apply this over top of the two servo skulls. And with that Skeleton Horde all applied, we then want to take some Cygor Brown. We're going to apply this over top of his face. Like that. And we've got a couple of little cable ties back here on these large cables as well. And with that Cygor Brown applied, we're then going to take some Akhelian Green, and we're going to apply this over the top of a little projection here on this servo skull. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Coelia Greenshade. We're going to use this over the top of all of our white details. So this is going to be this kind of cog tooth design just here and on the top of the other servo skull as well. And we're also going to apply this over top of Caanok Var's helmet grill, or Vox grill, this bit down here. We'll also apply this over top of the Iron Hands logo on his shoulder. And we'll also apply this over top of the bolt gun casing. With that all done, don't worry, it's going to look a little bit weird, but for now, we're just going to move on to our next colour, which is going to be some Targor Rageshade, and we're going to apply this over the top of the Crux Terminatus. So with that all done, it is now time to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we're going to apply this over top of almost all of our remaining details. There's only a couple that we are going to do a different colour, and that is going to be the sort of power housing here on the weapon and on the skull on the top there. And then we've also got the kind of connection points of the cables here, here, and here that we're also going to avoid doing with it. In fact, we are actually going to do these large ones here, but just these couple here that we're not going to be doing it over top of, and of course the bullets as well in the gun. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Runelord Brass. I'm going to apply this over top of all our remaining details. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades. The first of these is going to be some Nuln Oil. We're going to apply this over the top of all the black and all the silver. And with all of that Nuln Oil applied, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. And we're going to apply this over the top of the grip of the weapon and all the brass. And finally, because we've got to do it earlier, but we're going to do it now, we're going to take some Coelia Greenshade and we're going to apply this over top of the projection. So with that all done, Caanok Var is, well, technically a Warhipster battle ready, but we both know he's not, because we do have these white details. Anyway, he is technically at that Warhipster battle ready, but the first colour that we're going to be using to take him to the next level is some thinned down Corax White. I'm going to be using this to relayer all the white details, which is going to make him feel much more Iron Handsy. So with that all done, we're going to hit pause on the white for now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to conquer the biggest sections before we go back to doing something like that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black armour. Now what we're not going to do is we're not going to hit any of the rivets. But all the edges of the power armour, we are going to edge highlight those. So with all that Dawnstone applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Administratum Grey. I'm going to use this over the sharpest corners of the black power armour. So with that all done, and it is a little bit early, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker, and we're going to use this to pick out all of the rivets like that. However, because we've got it open and we got it thinned down, we're also going to use this to highlight all the silver. So with all of that done, there is one thing we forgot to do, which is on the Crux Terminatus. We're going to do it now, which is to take some thinned down Administratum Grey. I'm going to use this to highlight that Crux Terminatus. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Black Legion. I'm going to use this to do two things. The first of which is to take a teensy tiny little bit and apply it over top of his eyeball. Just like that sort of thing. However, the other thing we're going to do with the Black Legion is going to use this to do some hazard striping on our yellow tubes. So we're just going to start up here by drawing a little line going across, like so, and then leaving a little gap and drawing another little line. And then what we will do is we'll go and block that in, but we need to just continue doing those little lines. All the way down. And so with that hazard striping done, we then take some thinned down Knight-Questor Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight his face, but also there's little leather bindings back here on the cables. And so with that all done, we then want to take a teensy tiny little dot of Screaming Skull. I'm going to apply this in the corners of his eyeballs. like that. And then what we're also going to do with the Screaming Skull is going to use this to highlight the skulls. So with that all done, we're now going to take a tiny little bit of Squig Orange. I'm going to use this to add just a couple of little highlights here and there over the top of the red cables. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Corax White. We've got more stuff that we forgot about. So, on the Crux Terminatus, what we're going to do is we're going to use this to add some little spot highlights. Here and here. And around the corners. And sharpest edges. Just like that sort of thing. However, on the little tilting plate, what we're going to do is a little bit of freehand. So, we want to draw kind of a sort of a 3-cog tooth type thing. So what we want to do is on either side of that rivet, we want to draw a tiny little line that comes down. Then we want to connect them. Like so. And then at either end we want to do the kind of the exact same thing, but just adding basically a little battlement. Like that. And then just underneath the rivet once again, we want to draw a line going all the way across. Like so. And then we're going to block all of that in. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is going to take some thinned down Lothern Blue. I'm going to use this to highlight our little projection. With all of that Lothern Blue applied, we then take some thinned down Baharroth Blue. And we use this to add some little spot highlights to it. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down white scar. I'm going to use this to add some highlights to all the white details. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Canoptek Alloy. I'm going to use this to highlight our brass details. And so to finish off Caanok Var, we're going to take two colours, Blood Angels Red and Akhelian Green. I'm going to use this over the top of all the lenses. So we're going to start with some Blood Angels Red. I'm just going to apply this over things like the eye lens here and this one up here. Like that sort of thing. And similarly we're going to use Akhelian Green for things like this one. Up here. And there we have it, with the base now complete in the same style we usually do. Black Templar for the rocks, Stolen Mud for the base, and a Tyrant Skull dry brush with some tufts from Gamer's Grass. Caanok Var is now finished. I really like him. I didn't at first because I thought he was very static, but then I realised he's actually in Terminator armour. He's a lot more imposing, and he's just, yeah, he's a very, very cool miniature at the end of the day. He's quite fun to paint as well, and a must-have for all Iron Hands fans. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.